So good morning. Thank you all so much for joining us for this webinar on the new GuideStar Local Nonprofit Directory that we will be launching in July. So our presenters for the webinar this morning, Meredith Lysott is our Strategic Philanthropy Program Manager, and she is going to be doing the facilitation, moving the PowerPoint slides through and monitoring the chat and managing the recording and things like that. And she will kind of lead our Q&A at the end. And then I am Stephanie Mann, the Director of Operations at the Community Foundation, and Kipper Kozlowski is our Director of Donor Services. And so we will be going through the presentation this morning. Meredith, you can go to the next slide for a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to do it webinar style, so if everyone could just stay muted until the Q&A section. We will stop the recording right before we begin Q&A so that you all have the freedom to ask any questions. They won't be recorded. If you do have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to post it in the chat, and then we'll start the Q&A with anything from the chat and then kind of open it up to anything beyond that. We're going to be sharing a few different links in the chat as well as we go throughout the presentation, and we'll also send out an email after the webinar with the recording and a summary of the links that we send throughout the chat. So I'm going to kick it off to Kipper to do a little bit of introductions on the Community Foundation and GuideStar in general.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. As Stephanie said, I'm Kipper Kozlowski. I'm the Director of Donor Services at the Athens Area Community Foundation, where we exist as a public grant-making foundation to grow giving for the community that we all love. We are a trusted community leader, a trusted partner for local organizations, and a trusted guide for local giving, for local philanthropy. And while we are a nonprofit, we don't vie for the same dollars as most nonprofits, which puts us in the very unique position of being a support to other nonprofits, which we just love. So we love coming alongside of other nonprofits. We know that when our nonprofits are doing well, our community is doing well. So along those lines, we wanted to launch into this new exciting thing we have going on. Many of you are familiar with Candid, but if you are not, Candid is an online platform for nonprofits as well as funders that was born out of combining the Foundation Center and GuideStar. The Foundation Directory is a source for nonprofits to research funders. Conversely, GuideStar compiles information from 990s filed by all nonprofits and allows the funders to research nonprofits. GuideStar is the world's largest source of nonprofit information. GuideStar.org connects people and organizations to 2.5 million nonprofits. If you're a 501c3, you have a GuideStar profile. We know that 7 million plus people use data to make intelligent decisions about our social sector. And so this is where our exciting news comes in. So I want to kick it over to Stephanie to explain what is on the horizon.
So in July, we are going to be launching GuideStar Local, which is going to serve as a local nonprofit directory. Meredith, you can go to the next slide. So what this will do is it's going to bring GuideStar data to a local database. So it will be a directory of nonprofit organizations that are located in the Athens Area Community Foundation 6-county area. So that includes Athens, Clarke, Barrow, Jackson, Madison, Oconee, and Oglethorpe County. So it will basically be giving free access to GuideStar data on nonprofits in this area. And one thing to note, if your EIN is associated with a parent organization that is not located in one of these 6-county areas, you won't be listed on this local directory, but anyone can still utilize GuideStar free to search for your organization through GuideStar as well. You can go to the next. And so we wanted to just answer, why do we need a nonprofit directory? And so part of what we want to offer is free and unlimited searches for every nonprofit in our 6-county region. So anyone can use GuideStar right now, but there is a limited number of searches on a free subscription, and the cost to have a GuideStar subscription is not affordable just for your average everyday community member. So we want to offer a free opportunity to utilize the GuideStar data to learn about the incredible nonprofits that are in our business community. And then we want to have this directory as a tool for people in the community to find ways to donate and to volunteer and to connect to other resources of other nonprofits that could be good for collaboration, or community members to find ways to get involved. And data is going to be populated in 3 ways. This is how data from GuideStar is populated on nonprofit profiles. So information that is on the IRS 990 that all nonprofits file, other partners in the nonprofit sector, and then directly from nonprofits as you all update your GuideStar profiles. So anytime you update your GuideStar profile, our directory will be updated with your most recent changes simultaneously. There's no need to fill out any other forms, just keeping that GuideStar profile up to date. And Meredith should have just shared this link. If you need to update your profile or need to create a profile, if it's not in the GuideStar database, then that link is a great place to start. And 3 key features about this nonprofit directory is that you'll have detailed information on local nonprofits. There are multiple search filters that anyone can search the database by cause or size of nonprofit or specific county, and many more. And then constantly updated information. Like I said, as soon as you make any change to your GuideStar profile, it will automatically be reflected in this directory. So I'm going to kick it back to Kipper to talk a little bit more about your nonprofit profile in GuideStar.
All righty. So really, we wanted to give you all a chance before we launch this directory to level up your profile. We just want to encourage nonprofits in our local area to take a look at your GuideStar profile, make sure it's up to date, take a look at the seals of transparency and see where you fall. I'm sure some of you already have earned seals, but maybe you can bump up another level. They're easy to obtain, and we're going to provide you with links. Meredith is putting those in now so that you'll know how to earn your seal if you don't have one. So we want to make sure you are showcasing your amazing work so people will know about your organization, and so that you really shine when we launch this directory. The more polished you are, the more donors are going to feel great about giving to your organization. And so we wanted to dive in, show you what these seals look like. So you can see on this slide, the seals of transparency range from bronze to platinum. And you can use these seals in your marketing. You do have to earn them in order, and you'll want to update your profile each year or it will expire. We are going to recommend that you review all of the fields in your profile just to make sure everything is up to date. If you take a look at the bronze seal, the requirements are pretty simple, but the information is really important. What you might not know is that we use GuideStar every day as a funder. When we make a grant, we look at the GuideStar. We do a GuideStar charity check to make sure you're a nonprofit in good standing. That's how we do our due diligence on behalf of our donors. We also take a look at your website. So your GuideStar profile and your website, we are getting lots of information from. So we want to encourage you to look at both of those platforms and make sure everything is up to date. This is how we know where to send your grants, and you wouldn't believe how many grants we have sent back to us because of an incorrect address. We really try to dig and find the most up-to-date information, but you can really help us out, help us give you money by keeping those addresses current by updating us if there is somebody new in your organization that we need to make note of, if the name of your organization has changed, if we need to send grants to anybody's attention. That would be super helpful for us to know. But you can also help by keeping your GuideStar up to date and your website up to date. Many funders want to write checks, and we still write checks, we print checks. So it's super helpful when we can easily find that information. The silver seal ramps it up just a tiny bit, but it provides a way for you to showcase your programs, expose donors to your logo, to your social media platforms, etc. The gold seal requires a little more transparency. This will include your financials and your key demographics and the names of your organization's leaders. Note that if you don't have an audited financial statement, you can enter the details from your own records, your annual revenue, expenses, assets, liabilities. This is going to take, for this seal, a little more intentionality, but this is going to show donors that you're keeping really good financial records, that you're paying attention to them, and it shows that you're aware of your demographics in your organization. And there's good accountability in that. Note that the reported data has to be from the latest available fiscal year. The platinum seal requires answering some questions regarding your goals and strategies, as well as sharing an impact-based metric. For example, the number of donors or volunteers you've engaged, the total number of grants awarded, and note that at least one metric must be from 2023 if you're doing this in the near future. So again, we just wanted to encourage you to take a look at your GuideStar profile as well as your website. We want you to look at earning a seal, because when we launch this is a platform we'll use with our donors. When we sit down with donors and help to guide their philanthropy, we're always asking them what their philanthropic interests are. And so when you have a cause that matches the cause they're interested in supporting, and you make sure you have those proper keywords, your organization is going to pop up with our donors. And that's what we want to have happen. We want you supported and doing well and being funded the way that you need to be funded. So this is a way you can shine. We're rooting for you. We're here for you. And we so appreciate the work that you do for our community. So thank you.